All righty. I guess let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the Aspen Discovery 21.13 Aspen updates in an instant. We've got some big things here today. So first thing we've been working on is Aspen Lita, the Aspen app. It is, as of today, available in the app stores. So both Google Play and Android, or Google Play and Android and iOS. You can go download it. We are doing a slow rollout now. So we will have an official release party to coincide with the next Aspen updates in instant, next Aspen release on November 4th. But we wanted to give you a preview of what we've been working on. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I will share my phone. All righty, so we've got the Aspen app. This will be titled Aspen Lita when it rolls out officially in a couple of weeks. But we wanted to get it out in the App Store to make it easy for everybody to take a look at. So some of the things we've done is make it easier when selecting your library. So we have the ability now to get a little more information about each of the libraries. So I'm in Colorado, so these are all of the Colorado Library Consortium Aspen Cat libraries that are nearby me. So I could select any of those to work with, or I can also go down and I've got some test Bywater ones down here. So I'm going to log into one of those. And you'll notice also through all of this, the interface has all been refreshed and it's beautiful. So Kirsten's been doing a wonderful job with the app, making it pop and sing and do all kinds of amazing things. So we're just going to log in here real quick. So here we see we can discover all of our titles. So we can see all of our Magic Treehouse books. So this all just looks a lot better than, well, it's just all updated and refreshed. We've added a lot. So placing holds, you're able to select your format. So we can say we want to place a hold on our book, where we want to pick it up, place or hold. Whoop, except my account has expired, so I can't do that. We can search, and we've got paginated searches now. So if I want to search for, I'll just search for magic. So we can see it's easier to see all of the different formats. We are working for the full release to show more in terms of if something is available in multiple formats, show all of those formats. We can see as we scroll down, we'll get more results and they'll get paginated, assuming you're got a valid account that's not expired. You'll be able to place a hold, view all of the account information so we can see everything that we have checked out, and reload. We can reload checkouts. So there is, just like there is in Aspen, we'll cache those just for performance reasons. So you can reload them if you know you've just been to the self-check and checked out a bunch of things. We can renew everything. So we can try our renew all. And we renewed 7 of 9 titles. You can see what we have on hold, reload those. Got our library card and a bunch more information. So it's really looking good. We're really excited to have this rolling out officially at the next release. So November 4th will be the official launch party for the app. Does anybody have questions on anything? And I'm going to stop sharing here. I think there was a question on if there were logins that can be used. Yes, we can help share with logins, or if you're an Aspen site in production, you're definitely in the app by default. If you don't want to be in the app, let us know. But so you can use your own library barcodes and that kind of thing. Everything will show up just fine. Any other questions on the app? All right. So other things we've done a lot of work with indexing. So some of the things to that we've done. We've cleaned up a lot of the overdrive as well as just general indexing for performance. So some of those indexing updates for performance and also to fix a few kind of edge cases that people had. So those will affect the owning location, owning library, the availability toggle, that little bar that shows up at the top, and some of the format functionality. So filtering by format or filtering by format category up at the top. It also does things. So if you were using the additional locations to show availability for, there were cases where that wasn't showing properly. So if I said I want to show my library, but then these 3 other in a consortium, those weren't always showing, so those will show now. We also did some updates related to the unknown and missing languages and audiences for grouping works. So we should see significantly fewer unknowns when we get languages and audiences. And then everything's a little bit faster too, which is nice. So those nightly indexes will take a little bit less time when they need to run. A few other, like we always have some operating system or ILS integration updates. So there's some for Koha, and we'll see some later for Polaris. Overdrive, we also made some updates. So it looks like the way Overdrive was reporting some of the titles were causing Aspen to not see them. It looks like the specific case on that was if you had an Overdrive Advantage copy that was then shifted from your Advantage collection into a shared collection, those titles weren't properly showing always. So those do now show, and then it also cleaned up some of the counts. So we had a few cases where just the counts of copies owned were incorrect within some of the Overdrive, were just confusing. So that should all be cleaned up. We also updated, we had a couple of people notice that the available at was only showing Advantage collections. So we're showing that now, the Overdrive within the available at facet for both Advantage and the traditional shared collection. Placards. So for accessibility, so we've got, there are some images getting created for placards, which is great. They look wonderful. For accessibility, we wanted to make sure that there was some alt text. So we can now enter whatever you want for the alt text, and that'll be used for the image. So we could kind of duplicate that actual text to make it work for screen readers. I'm not going to type this full thing. So, and we can save those changes. And then when we searched for those, we would get alt text. So if we searched for like family, so we'll get some alt text now if we inspected that image. So good for screen readers. Some more Polaris updates. So again, finding some of those additional edge cases. So we had some of the patron blocks in there, but then found additional renewal blocks. So always working to find all of the data to make it all accessible within Aspen. Also, I had some cases with the Tiny MCE that got implemented last time, and there was an Aspen Weekly on it last week, I think, 2 weeks ago, last week, time flies. So there were a few cases where some of the HTML tags were getting stripped when they shouldn't be. So those are fixed now. So if you're seeing that, let us know. We have done a bunch of other just little changes. So things like for people doing open archives, being able to add a regular expression for loading the images. All open archives sites that do OAI PMH, they're all a little bit different, even if they're some from the same vendor. So it's always been a little bit of a trick to get those thumbnails out of the screen. So we just created a new way of doing that based off regular expressions. If you have no idea what a regular expression is or how to create them, feel free to let us know, and it will, we would be happy to do that for you to set it up. It just helps us from having to deploy a whole new set of code. We can just do that kind of as a support ticket instead of as a whole new release. So it can be a little more responsive. Couple other little things. when people are self-registering, we've had a couple of people say, I don't really want to show the username or the barcode or whatever information that we get out of the self-registration response. And this is especially with Koha, but other as well. So if you wanted to hide whatever the username that's auto-generated, or if a password gets auto-generated or something that displays, and you want to hide that, you can do that now with CSS. And then the last thing that apparently never had anybody say was the cloud library. We've updated that service name so that it will show as cloud library with the lowercase c and all merged into one word. So thank you to the library who pointed that out. So those are the updates for an instant. This code will all deploy to test sites and sites in implementation tonight. So if you're still being implemented and you're not soft launched or live, that code will go to you tonight to start taking a look at. If you are soft launched or in production with Aspen, this code will all get launched next Tuesday night. So we just wanted to give a little bit of time for people who have test sites to make sure that that everything's working well and that they don't see any other issues. And we're going to start doing that kind of going forward, where we'll deploy to some of those implementation site a little bit before the test sites before production. So if you have a test site, look for it tomorrow morning. If you don't have a test site and you're in production, look for it next Wednesday. Any questions? All right. Well, thanks everybody for your time today. And yeah, let us know what you think. We're excited to roll this out to you.